Welcome to my channel. Today, I'm sharing a beautiful story full of wisdom and kindness, The Ant and the Dove. It's a tale that reminds us of the power of goodness, gratitude, and how even the smallest can do great things. Get ready to enjoy this extended version that will truly touch your heart. The Ant and the Dove. It was a hot and bright summer day. The sun shone fiercely from the sky, and its golden rays fell upon the dry earth like fire. The trees barely offered any shade, and the air smelled of warm soil and crisp leaves. In the middle of this scorching landscape, a tiny ant walked alone along a dusty path. The ant, whose name was Antina, had been searching for water for hours. Her tongue was dry, her tiny legs sank into the powdery ground, and her body was beginning to weaken. But despite her exhaustion, Antina didn't give up. She knew that somewhere, perhaps at the end of the trail, she would find some relief. After walking a while longer, she noticed something different, the soft, steady sound of flowing water. Her antennae perked up with excitement. Water, she thought in relief. She hurried forward and soon arrived at the edge of a small river winding between the rocks. The water was clear, cool, and shimmered under the sun like a carpet of liquid diamonds. Without hesitation, Antina approached the edge and leaned in to drink. But the bank was slippery, and her tiny body lost its balance. In a blink, she fell into the river. Though it seemed calm, the current was far too strong for a tiny ant. The water swept her away quickly, and Antina struggled to stay afloat. She tried to swim, but every effort felt useless. She wanted to call for help, but her voice was far too small to be heard over the rushing water. At that very moment, in a tree near the river, a white dove with bright feathers was resting on a branch. Her name was Davida, and she had flown from far away looking for a peaceful place to spend the day. She was calmly observing the landscape when something caught her attention. She saw the struggling ant spinning in the water like a tiny black speck. Without a second thought, Davida opened her wings, flew to a thinner branch, and broke it off with her beak. It was light, perfect for floating. With strength and precision, she dropped the twig right into the water near the ant. Antina, nearly out of strength, saw the branch fall close to her. She stretched with all her might and managed to cling to it with her 6 legs. With one final effort, she climbed onto the twig and let it carry her to the riverbank. She coughed, shook off the water, and looked up. There, on the tree branch, the dove was watching her kindly. "Thank you," the ant cried with a trembling voice. "You saved my life. I don't know how to thank you." Davida smiled gently. "You don't need to thank me, little friend," she said warmly. "I did it because I saw someone in need. Everyone deserves a chance to live." Antina, still shaking, lifted one of her legs. "Even so, I promise you this. One day I'll return the favor. I'll never forget what you did." The dove gave a soft chuckle and fluttered her wings. "You don't need to return anything. Just keep living and helping when you can, that's enough." From that day on, Antina thought of Davida whenever she heard water flowing or saw a floating branch. She told other ants in her colony the story, and they listened in awe. Days passed. Summer continued, and with it came new dangers in the forest. One day, Antina was out searching for food. She walked among bushes when she heard a strange sound, the crunching of dry leaves, the soft metallic click of a weapon being loaded. Driven by curiosity and a strange feeling, she cautiously moved closer. There, hidden in the underbrush, was a hunter. A tall man, wearing leather boots and a wide-brimmed hat. He held a rifle in his hands and was looking up into the tree. Following his gaze, Antina saw Davida, calmly perched on a low branch, pecking at some seeds. Antina's heart raced. "It's her," she thought. "The dove who saved me." The hunter was slowly taking aim. Any moment now he would fire. The ant knew she had to act. There was no time to think. She ran as fast as she could up the hunter's boot, climbed onto his pant leg, and without hesitation bit him hard. "Ouch!" the man shouted, dropping the rifle as he swatted at his leg. "Damn ant!" The gun fell to the ground with a dull thud. Davida, startled by the noise, saw what was happening. With a powerful flap of her wings, she soared into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. When the hunter tried to pick up his weapon again, it was already too late. The dove was gone. Frustrated, the man walked away, never realizing that he'd been outwitted by a tiny ant. Davida flew up to a high branch and perched there, still shaken. Then she saw her, below on the ground. Antina was waving one of her legs. The dove glided down and landed gently next to her. "Was it you?" she asked, her eyes shining. "Did you save me?" The ant nodded. "I just kept my promise," she said with a smile. "You saved me once, and I said I would return the favor. What matters is that you're safe." Davida bowed her head and gently touched the ground near Antina with her beak, a sign of respect and gratitude. "Sometimes the smallest ones do the biggest things," she said with admiration. "Thank you, Antina." From that day on, whenever Davida flew through the forest and saw a line of ants, she smiled. She knew that among them, she had a faithful friend. And Antina, whenever she heard the flutter of wings above, looked up with hope, knowing they might help each other again someday. Moral: kindness always finds its way back. In life, we can all help one another, no matter how big or small we may be. For when the heart is generous, friendship blooms where it's least expected. Thank you for joining me for this story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration. Remember, kindness always comes back. See you next time.